Greetings, fellow Americans. Susanna for President 2028. Welcome to the 2025 edition of Franklin Delano Roosevelt's Fireside Chats. We got a couple of things we're going to talk about today. The first thing that I'm going to address is the violence that occurred on New Year's. This is a difficult one to address for many reasons. First, let me say that I absolutely value our military, and I see the necessity for our military. It is incredibly disturbing to me that two of our service members committed acts of violence against the American public at the beginning of the new year. I know I'm not the only person who is disturbed by this. I understand that the soldier who killed himself by blowing up his rented Tesla truck in front of Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas was a Trump supporter, but he was trying to make a statement about his feelings about the state of our nation. So my question is, what was the purpose of this violence when you could have just emailed the president-elect? We have the options to contact our Congress members. We have the option to contact our president. There are ways to do that. There are correspondence options on the websites for our government agencies. After all of the information that has been released to us regarding this particular individual, it's my opinion that he is no patriot, though he may have thought he was acting like a patriot. There is no circumstance in which a member of the United States Armed Forces should commit acts of violence against the American people. There's no instance. Yet we have two of these instances now already this year. The second incident is the terrorist act in New Orleans during the New Year's celebration. This person was intent on causing harm. He killed 14 people. There is very strong evidence to support this act as a terroristic act. It's unfortunate. It seems to me that this person may have not been directly involved with ISIS, the terrorist group, but may have supported ISIS. He may have been watching for specific triggers for his turn, such as the incident in Germany that happened just a few weeks ago. These acts are clear violations of our First Amendment rights. They are clear violations of the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness of many individuals, of all of us. These individuals acted of their own accord. They chose. We have the choice to act differently, to behave differently. We have the willpower to choose our own behaviors, to choose how we respond to emotional situations, how we exhibit our passions and our fears. These men chose to exhibit their passions and fears and concerns in violence, in acts of violence against us, against the people that they chose to take an oath to serve, to protect, to honor the Constitution that we all live under. May their service records reflect differently. That being said, I'm going to move on to the rest of the National Recovery Act, and that is adding constitutional, or amending the Constitution. This particular section is actually adding an article to the Constitution, Article VIII. Not everyone is going to participate in our government, and that is their right. Managing a government and a nation is a big deal. It's a big job, and it can be so overwhelming. So it is the responsibility of those of us, we the people, who do participate in managing our government and our nation, to ensure the rights of those who don't participate. But when our situation becomes such as it has as of 2024, the mass of voters should not shun their vote, for that's when it will count the most. So with Article 8, we are going to add a few things. We're going to observe, first of all, that there's no real defining election system within our Constitution, but there are defined methods of selecting our representatives in Congress and the President. We also have multiple clauses in the articles of the Constitution that define the selection process for our elected officials. We also have 3 amendments within our Constitution that guarantee our rights as voters. As of now, the national voting system is inconsistent across all of our states, across the Union. It does not guarantee options for everyone to choose from in the nation, and it only guarantees political party choices. Actually, that's a misstatement. The only thing that guarantees the political parties is the states on the ballot. The individual states guarantee the political parties on the ballot. There's a couple things with this. So reworking the Constitution is actually the best way to word it. Reworking it so that we take the 3 amendments that are within our Constitution and the clauses that determine the selection process for our elected officials, and putting them all under Article 8, which would be the defining voting system for our nation. And it would include some new individuals to vote for, and that is the members of the United States Supreme Court. So some of that would be changing. It would be, of course, it would be a proposal that would have to be ratified by all of the states before anything like that could happen. It is possible for it to happen. Within this article, we're also going to ensure that technology is allowed to assist us in guaranteeing access to the voting system, so that we always have access to the information on legislation that's being proposed, being able to actually vote without worrying about if our mailbox or our voters' ballot box is going to catch fire or be destroyed, or if our ballots are going to be counted. The electronic system would allow us to guarantee that those votes are counted, and it would also help eliminate a lot of the paper issue with ballots. However, I do believe that something like this with a voting system should guarantee alternate ways to vote as backups and just general choices. The voting itself should be simple, and this also goes for members of Congress as well. So the way that they cast their votes can also be upgraded. We do want our Congress members to be participating, to make sure that their vote is counted. So upgrading their way of voting is also going to be essential. It's going to benefit our nation, be able to speed up the process of passing legislation or vetoing legislation. So, all in all, we can govern our nation as a nation. It doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be violent. And we've seen that a lot. Individuals propose multiple options on a regular basis. It's just a matter of knowing those options and choosing from them. For those individuals of our nation who choose not to vote, we got you. We the people, those who do vote, those who do manage our nation and participate in it, we will ensure that your rights are secure. I am asking for all members who are of age, all members of our nation who are of age, who will be of age whenever voting is necessary, to educate yourself on what's going on with our nation. Educate yourself on what's going on with your locality, so the city you're living in, the town. Ask questions. Formulate your own opinions. Participate in the government. It does not, like I said, have to be stressful. As long as you are aware of what's going on, you can keep an eye on things, and you can do like a lot of people do and cast your vote when necessary. It's important that we all acknowledge that it is our responsibility as the main branch of government, the main function of this nation. It's our responsibility to govern ourselves. It's our responsibility to govern our nation, to govern our government, to make sure that they are doing what we expect them to do, and then we do our part as well. That is all I have for today. Next week, I'm going to be speaking about a new order that has been established, and that is Earth Order America. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that next week. I'm also going to be talking about some additions to the National Recovery Act that I believe are important for all of us to be aware of, such as the Infrastructure Repair Act. And then we should be on our way to really defining how we're going to proceed with our nation. Thank you for your time, and may our path lead to peace and prosperity.